Your jaw is sore and you don't remember clenching it. Your hands are freezing, even though the room feels fine. You're mid-sentence, and suddenly the word just vanishes. Your stomach feels tight before a meeting that isn't even that important. None of these feel like stress. No racing thoughts, no obvious anxiety. So why is your body glitching? Here's the strange part. Stress doesn't wait for permission to show up. It doesn't need you to feel worried first. Your nervous system is already rerouting blood, oxygen, and energy the moment it senses pressure, no matter how small. So today we're uncovering why stress hides in your jaw, your hands, and your vocabulary, instead of your mind. You've probably explained these away before. Maybe you told yourself your jaw just does that, or your hands run cold, or brains just blank sometimes. Easy explanations, nothing to connect. But what if they're not separate accidents? What if they're the same signal, showing up in different places? So here's the real question. Not why am I stressed, but why does stress show up in your jaw, your hands, your words, when nothing about the moment feels alarming at all? That answer is hiding in a system working quietly behind the scenes, and it's about to make a lot of sense. Here's where it gets interesting. This whole thing starts smaller than you'd think. Your nervous system doesn't wait around for a real emergency before it acts. An email landing in your inbox, a deadline sitting on your calendar, a meeting invite popping up. Any of these can quietly register as pressure. Not danger, not anything you'd consciously call a threat. Just pressure, and your body treats pressure the same way it's treated pressure for a very long time. It doesn't pause to evaluate whether this is a serious problem or a minor inconvenience. It just starts moving resources. Think of your body like a control room with a limited budget. When something registers as pressure, that control room makes an executive decision in a fraction of a second. It decides what matters right now and what can wait. And what matters, according to a system built for physical survival, is muscle. So blood and energy start getting pulled toward the muscles that could run or fight, the big ones, the ones that would matter if you actually had to move fast. That's the fast signal. Your shoulders creep up toward your ears without you noticing. Your jaw clenches, or you start grinding your teeth while you're deep in focused work. None of that is you being tense on purpose. It's the control room quietly arming muscles for a fight that was never going to happen. Then there's a slower signal, one that takes a little longer to show up, but tells the same story. Peripheral warmth gets deprioritized. Blood moves toward your core and your major muscles, and away from your fingers and your toes. This is why your hands can go cold sitting at a desk in a warm room, with the heater running, with nothing around you that should explain it. It's not a draft. It's not poor circulation in some vague sense. It's your body making a resource decision, moving warmth away from your extremities because, in the logic of this ancient system, fingers don't matter much if you're about to need your legs. Digestion gets the same treatment. It's one of the first things to go quiet when the control room reallocates resources, because digesting a meal is not useful in a moment your body thinks might require fight or flight. So that knotted, tight, sometimes bloated feeling in your stomach before a meeting, even a meeting that objectively does not matter that much, isn't your gut being dramatic. It's your gut being deprioritized. Blood flow that would normally support digestion gets redirected elsewhere, and your stomach lets you know about it in the only language it has: tightness, discomfort, that low simmering unease that shows up before you've even sat down at the table. Fine motor control takes a hit too, and this one is easy to miss because it shows up in small, strange ways. Your body shifts resources away from precise, delicate movement and toward gross motor readiness, the kind of readiness that favors big, powerful actions over small, careful ones. This is part of why your breathing can shift without you deciding to change it, moving up into your chest instead of staying low in your belly. Shallow, upper chest breathing is more efficient for quick bursts of action. It is not efficient for calm. And in that same category, an eyelid twitch or a small muscle flicker that seems to come out of nowhere can be a byproduct of this same shift. Tiny electrical noise from a system that's busy prioritizing bigger movements and letting smaller ones misfire. And then there's the one that catches people most off guard: word recall. When your body narrows its focus toward whatever it has flagged as the thing to deal with, resources drift away from processes it treats as extra. Finding a specific word in the middle of a sentence is, biologically speaking, extra. It's not going to help you outrun anything. So mid-conversation, mid-presentation, mid-completely ordinary sentence, the word just isn't there. Not because your brain is failing you, because your brain triaged it as non-essential in that exact moment, the same way it triaged digestion and steady hands. All of this made complete sense back when pressure meant something with teeth, a predator in the grass. A genuine physical threat that needed you fast, strong, and laser-focused on one thing: survival. Your body still runs that exact same ancient program today. It just runs it for an inbox. The system has not been updated to tell the difference between something that could genuinely harm you and something that is simply inconvenient, uncomfortable, or mildly stressful. A deadline gets the same rerouting treatment as a predator would have. Same jaw, same cold hands, same tight stomach. Different trigger, identical response. And here's the part that explains why this feels like a constant low hum, rather than a single dramatic event. Once in a while, this rerouting is completely harmless. It fires, it does its job, it passes, and your body settles back down within minutes. That's the system working exactly as intended. The real issue shows up when this response gets triggered again and again across a single day, email after email, meeting after meeting, notification after notification, without ever fully switching off in between. That's when a sore jaw by the afternoon, hands that stay cold for hours, or a stomach that stays tight through back-to-back meetings stop being isolated moments and start becoming your baseline. Here's the good news buried in all of this. If your body has a system for ramping up, it also has a system for standing down. It's not a separate mechanism you need to learn from scratch. It's the same one, just running in reverse. And the fastest way into it is through breath. Remember that shallow, upper chest breathing that shows up when pressure hits. That pattern exists because quick, high breaths are useful for sudden action. But a slow breath that drops down into your belly tells your nervous system something very different. It says the moment has passed. There is no predator. There is no reason to keep muscles armed and blood pulled toward your core. One slow belly breath is basically a message sent in the same language your body already speaks, and it's often the quickest way to start easing that rerouting back toward normal. This is exactly why catching these signals early matters more than trying to talk yourself down later. A tight jaw noticed within seconds is simple to release. A tight jaw you don't notice until 3 in the afternoon has had hours to settle in, layered under a dozen other small triggers. The signal is the same. The timing changes everything. So here's the actual habit, simple enough to do without rearranging your day. A handful of times today, take 60 seconds and run a quick scan. Unclench your jaw, let your tongue rest, and your teeth come apart. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Even if they don't feel raised, drop them anyway. Then take one slow breath, not into your chest, down into your belly, and let it out slower than it came in. That's the whole reset. No app, no ritual, no special posture. Just 3 small corrections that speak directly to the system doing the rerouting. Try it right before opening your inbox, or right before stepping into a meeting, since those are exactly the low-stakes moments where this response quietly fires the most. And here's something worth sitting with. None of this means your body is broken or overreacting in some flawed way. It means it's doing precisely what it was built to do, just a little too generously for an email that will get answered either way. That sore jaw, those cold hands, that missing word mid-sentence, they're not signs of failure, they're signs of a system standing guard, slightly overzealous, but fundamentally on your side. Over the next week, don't try to fix anything yet, just notice. Notice if your hands go cold before certain calls more than others. Notice if the missing word tends to show up late in the day when the tank is lower. Notice if your jaw is already tight before you've even opened your laptop. You're not diagnosing anything. You're just finally reading a language your body has been speaking all along, one you didn't know you understood until now. So think back to where we started. The sore jaw with no memory of clenching it, the cold hands in a warm room, the word that disappeared mid-sentence, the tight stomach before a meeting that never even mattered that much. None of those were random. None of those meant something was wrong with you. They were your alarm system, quietly doing its job, rerouting resources toward muscles that were never actually needed, at the cost of the small things you didn't notice going missing. The next time your jaw tightens for no clear reason, or your hands go cold sitting at your desk, you'll know exactly what's happening. It's not a glitch, it's not bad luck, it's your body's ancient alarm system, quietly asking for one thing. One slow breath, low into your belly, telling it the threat has passed, so it can stand down and let you get back to whatever you were actually doing.